Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Jazakallah khair for coming out today. Alhamdulillah, I'm excited to talk to you about my new book. So, as you can see, it's titled The Adventures of Nuruddin. And you might think it's about my dad. It's not about my dad, but it's like a reference to him. Just wanted to pay some respect to him. But the story is completely a fictional story that I made. So, if you go to the next slide. So to tell you a little about the story, I did a historical fiction. So I went back into history, into the 1500s. And I researched some Islamic history and found that there's a lot of rich content to talk about that we don't talk about. And so the story, although it's fictional, it has a lot of real history and real events in it, and real people too. But the main character is somebody that I created, and his name is Farid. So Farid is a young man from Tunisia, and as he's growing up, he's noticing that the Spanish Empire is coming and trying to take over his land. And so he decides that he wants to do something about it. And that is when he finds out there is a pirate crew, Muslim pirate crew, that is defending the coast from attacks from the Spanish. And so he joins this pirate crew, and they go on adventures around the Mediterranean Sea, and they have a lot of fun adventures. So, next slide. So now my motivation for writing this book. Over the past few years, I've been getting some practice and some experience in just writing in general. You guys might remember those newspapers that I was passing out last year before coronavirus happened. I was creating a monthly newspaper and getting some writing experience, writing for other outlets as well. Like one outlet in Dallas, I wrote for 6 months. And so I found that writing was a fun experience for me, and I wanted to do something more. So I decided to take the next step and write a book. And so when I thought I want to write a book, what do I write about? And I found that if I want to write something, if I want to put months of investment in something, it has to be something valuable. Nothing filler or just empty entertainment. It has to be something that is adding something to the world. So I found that there was very little books that represented Islam in a good, positive, authentic way. And so I said, let me write a book that will give this positive representation to the world, especially for the youth, because growing up, they have few options to read. If they want to read a book, they go to the library and they find something about every culture and every religion, but they don't find anything about Islam. And they don't find anything about our culture. So I decided that I wanted to put something out there. And so that was my main motivation. I was looking to my younger brothers. They love to read, just like I did when I was their age. And I decided I want to make something that is exciting for them to read and something that will add something to their life, inshallah. So next slide. So here are some of the major themes in my book. I'm not going to give away too much because, inshallah, I want you guys to read it. But some of the major themes that I decided I wanted to include in this book are the following. So the one major theme is the importance of unity and brotherhood among the Muslims. And this is something that was important to me, not just because I see what's happening in the world to the Muslims, but also I see what's happening in my own community. And I know it's a struggle that we're facing, and I really want to show the next generation. We grow up in the community and we see what's happening, and it affects us too. And I just wanted to put something out there that will tell the next generation that we really need to stay together in this community and around the world. And if we work together, then no one can defeat us. And so this theme is throughout the book. When I go to other countries and show how the Spanish Muslims, they fought amongst each other, and they were removed from power, and they were kicked out of Spain, and so many atrocities happened to them because they did not work together. They fought each other. So this is one of the major themes that I wrote in the book. And then some other themes are courage and bravery. It's important to be courageous against injustice, against evil, to stand up and to fight against it. And also tawakkul is very important. The main character, Farid, he goes through many struggles, many challenges in his life. And so the lesson here is that he came out on top in the end because he kept that trust in Allah, in Allah's plan. And then finally, never giving hope is similar. And then one theme is respecting the people of knowledge. Whenever Farid had a problem, he went to someone with knowledge. He asked for advice. He didn't look to the wrong people. He asked the right people for advice. And so, and they gave respect to whatever scholars that they met. So I think that's important as well. And one more thing that I didn't mention here is that just to have a pride in Islam and in our history, because nowadays we see, young people, we see that the Muslim world is in shambles. There's so many issues, so many problems, and we start to develop an inferiority complex, like Muslims are weak. Muslims don't deserve to be strong. Muslims can't achieve anything. But if you just look a few hundred years back, you can see all these achievements. And these achievements are highlighted in the book so that the youth can learn about our history. Next slide. So, alhamdulillah, I launched the book about 10 days ago on Amazon. I published it on my own. I just did some research and found out how to publish it. And so far, alhamdulillah, the response is good. Have a few good reviews. You can go on Amazon and read what people are saying so far. One of the major themes people are happy about is that, they never saw a book with Muslim representation like this before. And so, alhamdulillah, I'm glad to add something like that to the world. Something that shows Muslims from the positive perspective rather than, we see in the media, the news, the shows, movies. Always the Muslims are the bad people, the evil people. But this time, first time they saw the Muslims are the good people. And, this is the first time they saw it. So they were happy about that, alhamdulillah. Next slide. Alhamdulillah, another positive development is that I was able to reach the top of the rankings in a few categories. If you look at teen, young adult Islam books, I was able to get to the #1 spot there. And it gave me a little thing that says bestseller because of that. So alhamdulillah, I feel it's a good achievement, alhamdulillah. If you go to the categories on Amazon, you go to Islam and books about Islam, books for young people about Islam, you will just find a bunch of stuff that is, not half of it is against Islam. They just put that this is about Islam, so it put it in the category of Islam. So I think it's important that we put these positive books, even in our own categories, we have negative stuff. So we really need to put more stuff out there to counter these negative portrayals. And finally, next slide. So from beginning to end, the process took me about 5 months. So inshallah, I believe that it's very possible to continue this effort. I'm going to keep writing more books, inshallah. Perhaps a sequel, or perhaps something about a new, completely different character. But inshallah, I'm going to keep going with this effort. And I'd like to dedicate this book to everyone. First of all, my parents. The book, obviously, is named after my dad. And then also the book is set in Tunisia, where my mom is from. So I gave both of them some, reference to both of them. But also, I want to dedicate this book to the whole community. Everything, when you write something, you don't just come up with something from thin air. It comes from your own experience. It comes from what you saw, what you observed. And I'm just really grateful for everything, for all the, I've lived in this community my whole life, 22 years. And I'm very happy very grateful for every investment made by every brother, every sister in this community up to this point in my life. And inshallah, anything else I do, it will be because of the investments of the people of this community. And inshallah, I brought some books. So if you want to join me in the lobby, I will be selling some books, and I can write some signature or a short message if you like. So jazakallah khair for joining me. And inshallah, I'd like to see you with a book in your hand, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.